Thank you for coming. I know it's Friday, we've taken some of your time, so we'll try to make it interesting. Today we'll be talking about a buzzword, digital transformation. Everybody's talking about digital transformation. So allow me at the beginning to start with something that happened just 2 hours ago. I was trying to come in here to the expo, and typically when I want to go somewhere, I open my mobile phone, check with Google, where is this location, and I ask how I go there, and typically he tells me a couple of alternatives to go by public transportation, by taxi, by car, by walking, by whatever. So I thought I'll come by the metro. And suddenly he started telling me it's take 1.5 hours to arrive here with 2 changes. And I know for a fact it's a one way for the metro. So I start scratching my head, what's happening? Start calling my friends in here, asking them what's the situation. They told me typically it takes half an hour. It's a one way with the metro. And Google doesn't say that. It was very strange. When we dig down a bit, we found that today there was an anomaly. The start of the operation started at 3 a.m. last night and ends tomorrow, actually. So as far as typical operation is concerned, there is no start and stop today. And Google didn't understand. Problem is, this case was not planned in the beginning. So when the algorithm that was working started to look for when does the metro start, it didn't find it. The metro did not start today, and it did not end today. So it did not report it at all. It went to the backup and went with buses. So this is one of the things that we'll be talking today about, is that digital transformation is not an end by itself. Digital transformation is the beginning. It's digital, so it's technology, but then there is transformation. There is a change of process embedded in this keyword, digital transformation. Unless you continue to update it, keep it alive, keep it up to date, something will go wrong, like what happened. So for this session, it's organized by the Islamic Chamber of Commerce, Industry and Agriculture, and it's sponsored by Al Baraka Forum, and we thank them for that. Not wasting time, we'll start moving to, I think we need to switch to the presentation. Yes, thank you. A bit of history that we started first by the first industrial revolution. It started by using steam. And then we worked into the second industrial revolution and mass production. And then the third, where computers come in. Now the fourth is a bit shaping right now. It's merging and blurring the boundaries between the physical world and the cyber world. You put on a 3D glasses, and suddenly you are immersed into an experience that you really can miss where you are. A child can be playing an action game, and if his mother just touch him, he will turn with his gun. So he's really immersed into the experience, and sometimes he loses track where he is. So that's where we are now. So to think about digital transformation, we need to know how it evolved, how it came. And the beginning is innovation. Innovation, again, is another buzzword. What's innovation? Innovation is something new. Not necessarily I'm inventing something, but how it's done is still innovation. I can innovate in how to do things. Innovation happened to products. Smartphones we all have. What the smartphone now resembles is probably 20 products that we couldn't carry in the beginning. It encompasses a calculator, it encompasses a map, it encompasses a lot of things. Computer, encompasses keyboard, a lot of things. And there's even sub-products. We can have the lane assist in automotive, in the cars. There is sub-product that can help the driver drive even without touching the wheel. Service has been also renovated. So coming here, I didn't need to go to a travel agency to book my flight or book my hotel. I just go to the internet and everything is there. It applies to business processes. So how an employee requests a vacation, for example, is not like it used to be done before. It's changing. Everything's evolving. Everything is innovating. The world's innovating. And it also applies to a business model. Of course, we all know Amazon and how it changed the world of retailing. So really, business likes to innovate. But business does not like to sit and wait for a creative idea that may come or may not come. So they started developing a maturity model for the innovation. It started by ad hoc. When someone just comes up with an idea, and it might go through his manager, all the way up, or it just dies at the beginning. And the maturity goes up to the optimized model, where there is a systemized way of creating ideas. There is a systemized way and process for the idea to evolve, get assessed, and then come all the way to the top to the implementation. And this is actually where a sustainable company is. So what drives or actually hinders innovation? Culture is the most important thing. If the culture appreciates this and supports idea, then employees and everybody, organization will come with an idea, and there is a real and an easy path for the ideas to come up, be evaluated, and get implemented. On the other side, if the culture stops this, it's very easy for a manager, nah, that's a bad idea. We tried, it never worked. This makes the employees or whoever on the company not interested or not motivated to say more. Organizational structure is how the idea goes up. Can I really talk to someone to get my idea, explain it, see what rewards can be done? Or it get curbed? Because if I told my manager, and my manager told his manager, and his manager told his manager, probably the idea will not be described as it is in the first place. Someone will miss something every step of the way. So the organizational structure is very important. Technology, I would say from my perspective, was an enabler or a showstopper. Were there the technology to support this idea, to bring it to life? I would say now, the technology, if you can dream it, we can do it. Anything. It's really easy. The problem is dreaming it. The problem is in the idea itself. Is it mature? Is it workable? Can it be rewarding? Research and development, again, is a supporter or a hinder. So now, instead of building a 4-story building, I can print it, literally print it. Now this, 10 years ago, was a dream. Now I can really print buildings. Now partnership with the universities, with research centers is very important, and the knowledge management is very important. We were just talking yesterday about the health sector. A surgeon goes to the operation theater, he does an operation, he learns something new, but then he keeps it to himself. So the other surgeon and the other staff in the hospital do not know anything about it. The question is how to gather all this information and bring it up. Because when we see a trend, we might see an opportunity to innovate, to do something different. But only when I see the trend, then I can do it. Hopefully, we go to industry disruption. This is the target. Everybody is looking now about the Amazon, about Airbnb, about a lot of things. Companies that turned into billions in very short time. So, industry disruption is doing something really new, but it has worth, it has a value, it's efficient to do it. How did this happen? It happened to a lot of things. It happened multiple times, actually, not once. Messaging, for example. We started by writing on a piece of paper and sending it. It takes 2 weeks to go somewhere. Now, there is emails. And now even emails are being boring. WhatsApp is much faster. So I can use messaging, and each time we evolve, each step sometimes kills what's before it. There is no fax anymore. There is no telex anymore. I don't know how many people write on a paper and send it in a letter. I don't think any. I personally didn't do it for the last 20 years. Photography. There was a huge industry on photography. There was paper development. There was development shop. There was a lot of things involved in the photography. Now, I don't need even a camera. My mobile phone is enough. And actually, my mobile phone has higher resolution than some cameras. Not only this, it works underwater. Why do I need a special apparatus to go underwater to have photos? My phone does this. So do I need a shop to sell films for the camera anymore? No. Do I need paper to work with? No. Newspaper. Newspaper, again, is changing. It was used to be paper. It used to be for previous day. I used to hear the information 24 hours after it happens. There was fixed numbers of reporters working on it. Now, it is now. I want to know what's happening now. I don't want to know what happened two days ago. It's not interesting to me anymore. Anybody can write an article. And I have it now, and it's free. Taxis. Everybody knows what's happening with Uber. The taxi industry is changing. If you don't cope, you have a problem. Automotive. And this is where everything is changing. The industry itself is going in a very strange direction. In 10 years, driver will not be needed. The car can drive itself. Car, take me home. Okay, let's go home. And it's actually might be safer, might be. Till now it's not, but it is. Now, there is a myth about digital disruption that it's mysterious. It happens just like that. Nobody knows what's happening. Is this correct? No. Kodak knew that there is digital cameras coming up. The Kodak executive decided that their paper operation, their paper, the development paper unit of business is more worthy and we need to save it. So they said, we'll not go digital. Result is, bye-bye. So really, it happens. It takes time. Disruption does not happen like this. It's not an overnight process. It is, do you see what's happening or you don't? The second is the disruption happens to you. No, you can't control it. Sometimes it happens to you, true, but it takes time to happen. Nokia saw that there is a switch in the tide. BlackBerry saw that there is a switch in the tide. They did not respond fast. Now, after the wave has come and gone and it's changing, Nokia is coming back. I think it's too late, but anyway, welcome to them. So let's think again what is digital transformation, and let me use an example to this. In a typical sales process, you will walk in the street, you will see a big billboard saying the shop in this place, in this mall, has this new product. Interesting. So you will go to the shop, you look through the shop floor, you look at what's being presented. I like this. Maybe you ask the shopkeeper for if they have, for example, a shirt. Do you have this shirt, this size, this color? Okay, I have it. He'll go to check in his warehouse. Do I have it or not? He will give it to you, a receipt, please pay. You go to pay, and then you get your product. By the end, he doesn't know who you are. The transaction ended when you left. Now, let's start automation. So we put a website. Instead of the big billboard, we'll have a website. That's nice. I'll see the website, but I cannot buy on the website. So I have to go to the shop again. Now, the shopkeeper, when I ask him if you have this shirt, he will not only look at his shop, he can look at other branches everywhere. So maybe he doesn't have this color or this size, but the other shop he has, he can bring it, or I can go to the other one, but okay, it's a better opportunity. Then there is the sales order. I go to pay, and now I have a point of sale. I can pay by credit card. Typically, that's nicer. But again, when it's over, I don't know much about this client. Me as a company, I don't know much about this client. This is not how digital transformation works. Digital transformation means technology and change of process. Let's see how it goes. So instead of the billboard, I have an online advertisement, and it's not generic. I know this person. I know this person Googled the word shirts. I know this guy Googled the word linen shirts or red shirts. So I know what he's looking for. And the advertisement is targeted to the right person at the right time. Then, do I need to go to the shop? No, why? I just click the link on the spot, anytime, anywhere, and I can see all the varieties. And maybe I can even customize the product. I don't need to take the product as is. I can customize it and can tailor it. And then I really don't need a sales rep. Why would I need them? I see all the products everywhere, and I can choose. And I can decide that it comes to me. And then I can pay with a lot of options, much more than what I can pay on the physical location. I can pay with PayPal, for example. I cannot pay with PayPal on a point of sale. And delivery happens. Delivery happens on the time of my choosing, at the place of my choosing, and I can trace it. I know where is my product. I know where it will be delivered. And at the end, the company knows exactly who I am. They know exactly what I like. And even better for the company, they can suggest, sir, you purchased this shirt. Would you like a trouser with it? Would you like a tie with it? Would you like a shoes with it? You know, the typical Amazon. People who bought this, bought all through this. So there is an upselling, there is a cross-selling, there is a lot of things. And it doesn't stop here. You purchase a shirt, when the new colors come in, I'll send you a notification that there is a new shirt. So there is a lot of things that I gained from here. I gained stock efficiency. I don't need to put a lot of products in every shop. It's a single store or multiple stores that mixes everything. And I can control my business, me as a company. I can control my business. I know what's happening where. I know what the customers want, what they like, what they don't like. I know the product that is being in demand. I know what is not in demand. So I know a lot of things. That's digital transformation. But then to do this, we linked a lot of departments together. We linked the marketing with the back office, with the warehouse, with the customer service, with a lot of things. So what's different between generic ads and customized ads? Between standard product and customized product? Between anonymous customer that I don't know who he is and a totally identified customer? Between a timed transaction time, the shop opens from a certain time to a certain time, and you need to physically move to and anywhere, anytime, very convenient shopping. I moved from requiring number of staff per shop to very limited staff. So there is a lot of difference between the traditional and the transformational approach to digital transformation. So if we define what is digital transformation, it's the integration of digital technology. Again, integration of a digital technology into all areas of business from the very beginning to the very end by changing the customer experience. The idea is not cost cutting. It's mainly changing the customer experience and increasing efficiency. Now, digital transformation has two words. It's digital, it's technology, and there is change. So culture change is essential to this. I cannot change the company and then we come to the warehouse and the warehouse manager say, I'm sorry, I didn't receive a paper signed to dispense this product. What do you mean? Do I still need a paper? So unless we change the culture of the organization, digital transformation will not be that successful. So is it for everyone? Being asked, is digital transformation is only meant for startups, the super companies that start now, in 2 years, they are $1 billion worth. First thing, it's not 2 years. It's never 2 years. It takes long time. It takes 15 to 20 years to go from zero to $1 billion company. We just see it or notice it at the end, but it's a lot of work. So Amazon, Uber, Airbnb, they are all examples of great startups. In our Middle East, there is a lot of great startups that reach the unicorn level. It's a $1 billion plus company. But then again, the traditional company also does digital transformation. Nike, for example, it's a lot of heritage, a lot of time company, and Nike started transforming their customer sensing through their website. They know what customers want. They know the type of shoes they want. They know the color they want. They know what is moving, what is not moving. They can test a lot of things. They became very responsive to the market. And their stock increased from $55 to $80 in 2 years. That's a lot of money. That's digital transformation. Now, NGOs also can do this. The British Heart Foundation started adding digital transformation to its operation to be more into the information coming in, more into having electronic medical record for the patients. Governments, UAE is different where we are hosted now, is a typical example of digital transformation where you can renew your driving license without even going anywhere. It's very easy. UK will take a look at the UK experience in this. Okay, there is a government level digital transformation. I mean, it caters to everybody and everywhere. So there is two things when we talk about digital transformation. There is the objective why we do digital transformation, and there is pillars to do digital transformation. So we talk about mainly the objective. Do I need to adjust the business process, increase the efficiency, or I go to the clients to improve their satisfaction with what's happening? Or maybe I'm developing a totally new business model. Totally new doesn't always mean that I kill the traditional business model, but a hybrid model is always a good thing. Banking, for example, we'll have a case study about banks from Bahrain today to talk about the real thing. But bank, you cannot just close banking. But you need the other side. I personally, when I assess a bank where I open my account in, I assess how many times do I need to go to the bank. If it's a lot of times, I'm not interested. I want to do everything from my mobile and my computer. Now, just yesterday I was reading about Kuwait opening a 100% digital bank. So they are moving. They have their standard bank, but they are moving into the digital bank. So it's very important. Now the pillars, it has to cover about the culture and leadership, workforce enablement, and technology. We always focus on technology only. I myself am a computer engineer. Hasim, my friend and guest speaker here, is a computer engineer. And trust me, if you give digital transformation to the IT department, probably it will fail. Why? Now, if I ask my purchasing manager to buy me a car, he thinks I'm a big executive, he'll get me a Porsche. But what I want to do is I want to go to the desert. Porsche doesn't work. Or he get me a big Humpy, big 4x4, but I want to go to Cannes to open a cinema with my lady wearing a fancy dress. Does this work? Without telling him the objective, the direction, where I want to go, IT cannot do it. There has to be a strategy, there has to be direction first before the technology comes in. We as management, as leaders, we need to imagine the dream, have it solid, very clear, and then tell the IT, please do that. He will do it. He will do it quite well. But just tell him, go digital transform, doesn't work. So this is the technology that's there. I want to talk about it very quickly. I don't like a lot of technical mumbo jumbo, but let's talk a bit about a website. A lot of people think digital transformation is about website. There is a lot to go into a website. The design of the website tells who you are, why you are here, and how you do it. There is a lot of design, there is a lot of content. How do you write? What do you write? What's your competitive advantage? Now again, give this to the IT and he doesn't know, he'll do a very good website, but it's useless. It doesn't tell the story that you want to tell. The marketing should be the leader in here. Marketing should be the leader and the IT will fulfill whatever he requires. That's easy. But what's required? So content comes first, design, okay, content and design, it goes hand in hand, and then goes a bit of the SEO, a bit of a technical word. Search engine optimization. Looks very technical, but again, the question is, simply put, the SEO cares for when I search in Google, what will appear, right? So again, give it to technology. He doesn't know what keywords the marketing is caring about. Marketing is caring about the main trigger for purchase that clients look for, and they know it. Technology might not always know it. There is a very sneaky things that marketers do. They put as a keyword the name of the competitor. So when someone search for a, I don't know, for a Toyota, for example, Honda will appear. It happens. So this is about marketing playing. That's SEO. Again, it's technology. It's extremely technical, yet without the business owner, it will not work well. And again, continual update. This is exactly what I was talking about at the beginning. There was a change in the schedule. Google didn't know. They thought it's not working. So continual update is very important. Now, going into the social network, again, it's not having a page on Facebook, and we're done, let's sleep. No, actually, let's wake up. That's the time to work. That's the time we have a strategy and I have management. I have to interact what people are saying. What if someone said, I tried your product and it's very nice? Is this good? Should I just leave him? No, there is an action to be taken. Well, it's very bad. I've tried it. It doesn't work. Again, do I leave him? There is a strategy to work with every scenario. There has to be updates. I cannot go to a website or a page and I found news from 2020. I'm talking about when we are now. Actually, August 2021 is old. It has to be continuously update what's happening, right? Going to the mobile app, of course, the design. Different banks have the same functionality, yet how do you lay out the functionality of the mobile app makes all the difference. Is it easy to use or it's difficult to use? We'll talk in a bit about user experience, but this is what user experience is. Where do I find the buttons to push? How is the data displayed in the out? When do I update it? Does it link to the outside world? How is the link done? And definitely there is support, because when people start using the app, they will have problems. So you cannot just post the app on the Google Play and then forget it, because people will post their problems and you need to be responsive. So there has to be support. BOT, again, is a technology that supports social networking. Instead of me responding to everybody human to human, then you can put electronics to the support. Artificial intelligence can help you a lot. So if someone asks, when do you open? Automatically you can respond with the opening hours. Where are you? There can be automatic response. What do you need? Sales, customer support? Do you have an inquiry about the product? Again, there is a lot of support. But again, it has to be designed properly. So which comes first, the tree or the customer journey is very crucial to the success of such a product. E-payment, again, which gateway, how it's paying. Now there is Apple Pay. There is a lot of options. You need to have something that's very flexible that caters to most of the payment option that's there. Now, if you're going into e-commerce, then probably e-signature. What is the laws in the country? Does the law protect a signature? Can you actually do a transaction online? So what's the laws and regulation? What's the security? Going inside the company, there is a lot of operation-oriented technology that can support, like the enterprise resource planning, the accounting, HR systems, like client systems, Internet of Things, cloud computing, data security. And of course, I cannot overemphasize data security. Data security, once you go online, everything is exposed. We hear about hacking to major companies. So unless data is really secured, the company can face a lot of liabilities from that perspective. Moving on, about the efficiency. Internal efficiency and agility was the key word over the past 2 years. If the company did not have the agility to operate, they might go out of business. We all moved to a lot of video conferencing applications, virtual meetings, and stuff like that. So this was very important to working. And now started the need for new applications like managing efficiency. Your employee is working from home. Do you know if he's working or playing? And new tools comes every day to manage this. So there is really a lot of tools to help the company operate in a very efficient and agile way, whether it's collaboration tools, whether it's efficiency tools, intranet, extranet, knowledge base for all the people. How do you secure people working from home? Do you prepare a VPN for them? There is a token. How it's done? So there is a lot of people, a lot of issues in this. And with remote working comes again the security. Cannot talk less about security. By working remotely, you're opening a door for someone that's not here to get in. How do you ensure that he's only one getting in? So, security is very important. Now, also there is a lot of tools for insights to learn about your clients, to learn what is happening. So a lot of artificial intelligence, a lot of natural language processing, deep learning. That's how things are going now. So there is a lot of tools that can make your dream come true. But the question is, what is the dream? How it can help the customer feel better, be cared for more, have a lot of value in this company. So why we do a digital transformation? That's a very good question. Because the competition is doing it. If the neighboring bank is doing it, I cannot not do it. For example, imagine now a hotel that doesn't have a website. To me, it doesn't exist. I cannot find this hotel. Now, even more, if this hotel cannot give me confirmation to my reservation now, I don't like it. I want to know now, not tomorrow, now, if it's confirmed or not. So clients are getting a lot pampered and they want things, I want it now. We're getting into baby mood. I want it now, I want it immediately. So the other thing is market trend. We're just talking about the bank in Kuwait, moving into the digital world. It's the first one in Kuwait, but the world has a lot of banks in this way. So I cannot ignore what's happening in the world. Because what's happening in the world will come tomorrow to my operation. It can be market share. Am I losing market share by not going into digital transformation? It can be. Barnes & Noble, if they didn't move into the digital world, Amazon would have killed them. So they were losing market share. there was a small baby at the time called Amazon selling books online. If Barnes & Noble didn't move to the digital world, probably they would have done that by now. Technology is, again, a motivator for this. You don't do it because of technology. But sometimes you had a dream and the dream was not possible. But now it is. So with evolvement of technology, the ability of a dream to be fulfilled is getting more and more and more. So maybe you have a dream and you're just waiting for the right moment, the right technology to do it. The culture experience and the customer experience, is changing. Like I said, now I'm talking about having the confirmation for my hotel booking now. I want it online. I want to know if this product is available now. Don't get me an email after an hour telling me. I want to know right now. So the customer experience, with the changing of customer experience, you need to respond to this. Digital transformation can help for that. Now, going blind or driving blind in this world is becoming not a very wise attitude. So opening your eyes through more insights is very important. Now, more insights, there are routes and there is ways now that was not available at all before. So now you can have the sentiment of the people about white cheese. Might be very strange, but you can simply look at it in different social medias. What are people saying in forums? What is Google, if you Google what's happening? So you know the sentiment. Are people with or against? Are people against white shirts or they are moving with stripes? You can get this sentiment very fast. Question is, are you looking for it? So this is a way for digital, or a motivator for digital transformation. Actually, this was the motivator for Nike to be. Nike wanted to change from a typical follow the trend company to make the trend company. I am the trend maker. So I will initiate the shoe, different style, different color, different shape, but I will shape the market. And for that, they need to know, they need to listen to their customer. The customer, whether it's young, it's an average age, it's an old age, I need to listen and cater very quickly. So this is a motivator for digital transformation. Collaboration between departments is much easier with digital transformation. Imagine, again, the example I was talking about regarding asking for a vacation. Now, to ask for a holiday, I need to submit a form to the HR. The HR will see how many days do I have left. They will send it to my manager to see if there is a business need now or not. And the business manager might return it to the HR, who will send it to the finance department to see if I have any liabilities or any payment that needs to be done. Now, digitally transform this, and all what I've said is not necessary. Me as an employee, I go to the portal, I say I want a holiday for 5 days, and immediately the system will tell me you have only 3 days left, you cannot take the 5 days. Immediately, not after an hour. Once I say, okay, I'll take the 3 days, automatically a notification goes to my manager telling him this employee needs a vacation, yes or no. He say yes, it's done. The notification goes to the accounting. Accounting knows and start his financial things. So collaboration between departments is much easier. So I might do that. I might do a digital transformation to increase the operation between my departments. And agility, again, thanks to the 2 years that we passed, thanks to the COVID, is being agile or die. Really, it is like that. So we need to operate, we need to know things, and things are moving into irreversible way. I mean, the idea of video conferencing is here to stay. Companies are shrinking their office space. They realized, why do I need to host all my employees all the time everyone in dedicated and self-reserved office or desk. Why do I need to do that? I'll make everybody work half the time from home. It's cheaper. They are more convenient. I am more convenient. It's cheaper for me. And suddenly, the office real estate industry is suffering. So it is changing. Now, event like where we are, it used to be only physical. Now it's hybrid. There are people sitting at their homes listening to me. This wasn't the case before. Events, exhibitions that was practically inevitable. Nobody thought, how can I do this in a cyber or a hybrid way? One of the largest events in the world related to food industry, Anuga in Germany, they are having a hybrid event. There was Anuga at home, it was called. And amazingly, Anuga at home had more visitor than the physical Anuga. It was much easier. People can select exactly what session do they want to attend. They can attend it without moving, without transporting. Very easy. They can see the product that they want to see. They can examine it, can see their price, their specification, their everything, and then they can communicate with the company and do the transaction. It was very easy. So even the exhibition, an industry that's very traditional, is changing. It's here to stay. So that's why do we do digital transformation. One very important point to say, what is not digital transformation? Is anyone here from a technology company? They will not like what I'll say next. Technology for the technology is a recipe for failure. You are doing digital transformation because we want to install a new software. Why? I don't know, but we want to install new software. What's the return on investment? Not important, but this is the latest thing. We want to install it. Not good. Will not have the return that you want on the customer, on the efficiency, or anything. If you apply the technology to the usual working process, then you're not getting the best out of this. The traditional business process is built around paper. It's built around authentication, user signature. When you transform it, you need to totally destroy this idea and think digital. You have other way of authenticating the person. You have other way of ensuring that this happened on this time by this person. So you need to think process. There is a change in here. If you limit the scope to a single department, you will not get the best out of it. So you have the marketing department, very advanced. They have their website, they have their Facebook, they respond very quickly to clients, but then the operation department cannot respond. You want to do an e-shop, but the warehouse cannot receive and cannot reply now on his availability. Doesn't work. That's not digital transformation. That's automation. If the goals is focused only on cost reduction, that's a very, very dangerous place to be. Because executive will immediately ask you, how much did you save in the past 6 months? How much did you save in the past year? And you will not have an answer. It's very dangerous. They will cut funding. There is a case study towards the end, tomorrow, about how this goes. The last thing that's not digital transformation is that you consider digital transformation an end in itself. You put a new system, and that's it. Thank you very much. After 6 months, it will die. I'm sorry, but that's the fact. So what it takes, first it takes management commitment. First and most important is management commitment. Why? Granted, there will be mistakes. Granted, there might be an over budget runs. So there has to be management commitment that can accommodate this, can understand what you're doing and then improvement. And there has to be allocated budget. The budget here is not only the initial cost always think of total cost of ownership that has the operation, the updates, the security. There is a lot of aspects related to digital transformation. It's not only digital transformation. You need training for people. You need culture changes. You need teamwork. You need team building. A lot of things embedded. So the budget is not only technology. And then obviously you need qualified resources. You need the heads to be in the company. Of course you can outsource development. Of course you can outsource testing. A lot of things can be outsourced. You can get a ready-made application. That's fine. But he who receives, he who manages the digital transformation need to be your qualified man. Last but not least, the innovative culture. They always need to be in the upfront, to change, to try things. And when you try, the opportunity of failure is there. So you need to accept it. That's fine. You need to put a website and try a design. It works, good. So I try a website, and the first day I have 1,000 visitors. Great! How would you know it wouldn't be 10,000? You need to try, change. You have a post. The post have a lot of interaction. Good. What if we tried a different language? What if we tried a different font? What if we tried a different time for the post? So there has to be a culture of innovation. Pitfalls happen all the time. As long as we're innovating, as long as we're trying, there will be problems. The problem can be even a showstoppers. There can be problems in failing to launch, to start even the project. If you have a problematic strategy, and we'll talk about a case study for a company that said, very large company actually, that said, we want to be the most digitally transformed company in the world. What does this mean? What does it mean to be the most digitally transformed company in the world? It's a very problematic strategy. Strategy that's not, it cannot be transformed into reality. Or there can be limited leadership. With every step of the way, management say, no, that's enough. We spend a lot of money, we don't want to get more. Or with the first trial, you start asking, why are you trying? Don't you know what you're doing? Yes, but trying is part, it's integrated in the operation. No, why are you trying? Are you doing something wrong? If you don't have the proper talent, in-house or outsourced, it really doesn't matter. But if you don't have the talents working on the projects, then you might not be able to start it even. Because how they tell development what to do is crucial. It's better to be very aware of what to do rather than how to do it. How to do it is easy. What to do is the problem. Now, getting it started, to deploy, you have your application ready, and now you're ready to deploy. And your people are not interested. It happens all the time. You go to the accounting department, we have your application, the new accounting application ready. Let's start using it. I don't understand. But you didn't enter this scenario in your application. The report that we have with the profit and loss doesn't account for the scenarios that you put. It doesn't work this way. The coding system that you invented for the warehouse product does not match. We have different products. And that's a big issue. The other issue is managing the expectation of management. They expect that once the accounting system is on, it is there, then tomorrow I'll have the report when I click a button. Data entry is not relevant, training is not important. I want to push a button and see the report. Doesn't work this way. Underestimating resistance in people to change, which is very natural, is disastrous. You need to engage people from the very beginning. We'll talk about the cycle, how we do that in just a few. And then there is the success, then fail. There is a very happy problem that I see as happy. When you have your website, for example, you have your wife cooking at home, and she's selling food to people, and suddenly she has 100 requests. Oops, how can you fulfill that? So if you're not able to scale up very quickly, then you'll have dissatisfied customers. And if you have dissatisfied customers, that's worse than not having enough customers. Because this dissatisfied customer will speak to everybody that this site doesn't work, that these people are very reluctant to supply the product that they promised. They don't fulfill their promises. That's very bad. So you need to be able and ready for success. With a website or with digital transformation, you collect a lot of data. If you collect a lot of data and you don't know how to read it, how to use it, then you have a lot of money and you don't know. Now, I would like to stop the theory part and move to practical part. I'll invite my friend, Engineer Asim Galal. He is the founder and managing partner of Galal and Karawi Consulting Company, and he is also the member of Board of Trustees of Egypt Initiative for Digital Transformation, to talk about his practical experience in digital transformation in his own company. Asim?
Thank you, Ashraf. Thank you very much. So thank you everyone for spending your afternoon with us. We really, really appreciate that. I just want to check how many of you are residents of the UAE here. How many are visiting from outside the UAE? Excellent. How many of you have witnessed going to a video store to rent a video for a few days? So we all in this generation, correct? Good. Small reality check. So I just want you to go back to the year 2010 now. The story that I'm going to tell you took place in 2010. I was going to visit a client in the Fortune 500 list. Actually, they are in the Fortune 50 list. So they are one of the biggest 50 companies in the world. And I was visiting one of their branches here in the Middle East. And the purpose was that my company, at that time only 3 years old, we were trying to offer them a consulting and training service in the retail field. So they are a manufacturer of electronics, one of the largest in the world. And what we are trying to help them with is to sell their products in retail. So I have that meeting with the managing director, and it was a very good meeting. I offered how we can, help them with consulting, but also train their people who are on the ground. So the people who are in the retail stores, the people who are selling electronics in the retail stores. And we had a very fruitful meeting, but at the end of the meeting, he is telling me, Asim, would it be possible for you to come again tomorrow and do the same presentation again? So I'm thinking, is he not convinced? Is he doubting? I don't know what the problem is. So anyways, what I do is I go the second day, but there's more people in the room. So we have multiple stakeholders from inside the company in the room. And I do my pitch again about, we can offer consulting and we can offer, training for your retail, the field team, the team on the ground, the salespeople on the ground. They are called promoters, merchandisers. It differs from one industry to the other. So he lets me finish, and then at the end he says, no, we don't need consulting. We don't need training. In fact, we want to fire all those people who are working for us in retail, and you go ahead and hire them, and we outsource the service to you. So you manage it on your own. Now, obviously, I did not go prepared for that. So, like any businessman who has a company and we're starting, we're young still and ambitious. It's a large customer. So I say, sure, we're going to do that. So we take those people on board with the understanding is that we will work the mechanics together of how we can do that. So what do we realize? We hire those 11, 12 people, merchandisers, promoters, and we ask our customer, how much did you pay the previous agency that managed those guys? So let's say, for example, he paid them $50,000 a month. 10 people, just for simplicity, each should receive a little less than $5,000 because the agency has a margin as well, correct? Now, we do the checks, and then we discover that first whatever, 5,000 is very low compared to the market standard, but the people are getting money of 7,000 and 8,000, which doesn't make sense because the client is only paying 50,000. So if you multiply 7,000 or 8,000 by 10, you would discover that each of those guys, the total is $70,000 or $80,000. So that doesn't make sense. So further talking to the people, we discovered that the previous agency will use that person with 3 clients. So the same person that you would have would sell at different times different products and will receive multiple salaries. So that was one of the issues that the client was suffering from. He did never have transparency or understanding of the effort versus the results that he's getting. Now, moreover, there's no guarantee that the person is located where he should be. So that was another problem, very typical in retail. If you are working in a business, typically you have a check-in, check-out system in your company. But in retail, that is not the case. If I work, let's say, in Carrefour or a large supermarket or whatever, if I'm an employee there, fair and well. But if I'm a promoter for an outside company, there's no way for me to check in and check out for my company. So that was a big problem. So we identified, we identified a number of problems. We have a practice focusing on retail as a consultant. By the way, my name is Asim. So one of the things that we decided to focus on is to really have some sort of a system that will help us solve all those problems. So the problems that we saw at the time was that every one of those promoters need to check in and check out. Between that, he may just check in, leave the store, come 2 or 3 hours later, and all that time missing, I'm not able to, locate that person. So in between, I need also to understand where that person is. I need to allocate for the breaks, but also there's always exceptions. What are exceptions? Exceptions, for example, is that new products are arriving, you are needed at the warehouse at the end. So that person needs to let them know that he will be, doing an exception from his daily routine. Now, if you look at the larger problem is that that person is part of a roster. Roster is where I would go today to this store, but tomorrow to another store. So maintaining a roster is very important. If I run out of stock, I need to alert management. That's an escalation. If I need to take tomorrow off because my manager, I cannot see my manager, he's somewhere else. I need to take an approval. Incentives are very important for those people. And other retail functions, such as a merchandiser who is a rotating promoter, he goes to multiple stores, or a supervisor. These are all other applications. Now, Ashraf explained to us the concept of digital transformation. He spoke also about the concept of digital disruption. Now, I want to give 2 examples and show a spectrum. Those living here in the UAE, when they wanted to renew their residency before, what they did is they would go to a government office and fill out a form and do a number of, I need a photo, I need a health check and all this, and then you would receive your residency. Today, if you want to do the same, then you would do that on an app. So you would fill out the application on an app, you would submit some of the paperwork on an app, your photo, and then you would get, finally, your residence. Now, this is a typical digital transformation thing where the process has not really radically changed, but it is more efficient, and the user experience has improved a bit. Let me take you to the other extreme. You used to rent a video from the video store. while you're renting the video, is it available to anybody else from the people who are renting? It's not available, correct? So how many times I can rent that video in a month? Probably 30 times if I'm very efficient, correct? Then the media would degrade with the time because every time it's degrading. And also there's a risk of the video never being returned, so I need to keep down payments and so on. Now, I want you for a second to think about Netflix. How much is Netflix renting the same movie at the same time? Millions, correct? Why? Because the technology is no longer a limitation. I don't have a physical one tape. So what we're talking here about is that we have disrupted the business model of the video store. The video store is no longer able to survive now because I used to charge you for one movie for 1 day. With Netflix, from your side, the user, you have thousands of movies to change. So I'm not even making you pay for the movie. I'm making you pay for using Netflix for a month, correct? So I totally changed the business model. And now I can make money much easier. So the concept of disruption here is, if you take the LED lamp, the LED lamp, and compare it to the bulb. So the bulb has heat, has high electric consumption, and gives you 100 watts of, forget watts, gives you 100 luminous of light. Now I'm gonna go with the same with a LED, much less wattage, no heat, and exactly the same amount of light, correct? Now, if they were the same price, would you buy a bulb? You wouldn't, correct? So the minute the LED is out, it has disrupted the market. What does it mean, disrupted? Let me explain the word. It means that you as a consumer will never look at the old product anymore. It's garbage, you don't want it, correct? And anyone who used to hold that product in stock has a liability now. So disrupted means that I really made the market heads over heels. I made the consumer hate that product, and I made the competition having a liability carrying that product that was before a great thing, correct? So why I mentioned that is I want to take you through what we did. I don't claim we have done a disruption, but we also are much more than just a transformation. So we went and had an app in hand for every promoter that we have. Mind you, this is 2011 now, and this is like the 3rd year of Android, the 4th year of iPhone. It's very fresh. People are carrying a device. When they go to the store, they click on the device. There's no facial recognition at that time, but I take a photo of the person as they enter the store. I take the GPS location of the person, and I take the time from the system, not from his phone. So even if he changed the time on his phone, I take the time from the internet. So I have 3 information now: location, photo, and time. Can I, with those 3 information, establish that the person is in the store? Obviously, yes. So I check the person in. And then as he leaves the store, I check him out as well. If I have an issue believing them, then I will keep the location check every 15 minutes. I would check that person's location every 15 minutes. And I would also sometimes would require him to give me a photo because he can leave his phone and leave. So I would interactively deal with them. But that is not everything. There's a lot of other things that I can cram into this device to give information to my salespeople. You know that in retail, one of the biggest issues in retail is that the competitions can come up with a promotion, and if your time to respond to this promotion is long, then they really make a difference. So I would like the person in the store, as soon as they see any sort of competition activities, that they would be able to escalate it all the way and get quick results there. Also, I would like to have the option, if someone is, for any reason not available in the stores, for them to communicate to me and for me to replace them easily. So this app had a very interesting side effect that we didn't think about. Before we go with the app, those promoters used to work from the first day of the month till the 30th. And then on the first day of the second month, someone would go and get their absence and check-in, check-out report from each of the stores. So they used to have like a paper system, whatever, because there was no automated system. So when do they get paid? They get paid at least 5 to 6 days after the month end. Everybody gets paid on the month end. So for them, this was always an issue. When this system was out, we can give instantaneous input to the HRMS of the organization. So on the spot, they're able to know when they came in and when they left. So that was a key thing. Then the sales reporting were happening through the app. So people did not go back to an office, need to use a computer. They were using the app for that, which had also a very higher efficiency kind of thing. The third thing was the team management was much easier, and so was the escalation. Challenges. In the first 2 weeks, some people tried to download an app from Android that changes your GPS location. So they would say, I'm at work, while they were not at work. Obviously, it took some time for the developers to identify what they need to do to block this sort of behavior. It took some time for us to identify that it was happening in the first place, but that's, again, important. Second, there's a hybrid reality. Sometimes when we do a digital transformation, we think we solved a certain problem, but the world still requires papers, like Ashraf told us. So let me give you an example. A promoter has sold in the next 15 days, 25 computers. Now, he can say, I sold 25 computers, but the final commission will only happen when I check those 25 invoices that he took a photo of with the store. Because the store can tell me, out of those 25, maybe 2 were returned the second day. Or this did not happen at the cashier. Yes, the person did the invoice, he went to the cashier, but he didn't pay. So the transaction was not completed. So I need to allocate for that manual check in my system. And that meant that after I calculate things, I have a preliminary number, and I mention here that a manual check will happen in 3 days. After that manual check, we can register the number as a final, no longer preliminary. When we did the system first, without including this manual part, there was lots of conflict, and people would tell you your numbers are wrong because we have the numbers from the store and they're different. So that was another thing. In an earlier life, I worked in software development, and I read an amazing book that talked about something called the mythical man month. And man month is what they use to measure the effort in a software project. And a man month could be anything. And we tend to say, this will take a man a month to develop, but that's very hard to determine how much that is. And so my advice would be, since we are all looking at the return on the investment of any of those systems, you really need to think how much effort you will put into the project, but also what will come out of it. And it needs to really give you some sort of a ROI. If the ROI is not there, don't waste your time on the project. In many cases, things could be improved with a simple Excel sheet. Sometimes you can do a very simple improvement with a ready-made software. You don't really need to go all the way up. I've seen a tool online now called airtable.com that solves, I think, 20 to 30% of what many SMBs need online. It's there. So what I'm saying is, just weigh things before you start. Now, we learned a number of lessons. I want to share some of those lessons with you. First, manage your expectations. You will never be able to do the whole thing from the start. So like a sandwich, you'll eat things, or like a toast, you'll eat it slice by slice. So find out what you really need first and gradually add to it. Then select your suppliers and your developers carefully. That is one of the advices that I cannot overstress. It's really, really important. Anticipate and factor in potential delays. They will be delays. I will tell you some of the delays that we anticipated to happen, and they happened. We anticipated that many of the softwares in the Android world land on different phones. And when we started testing those phones, some of them worked beautifully and some of them didn't work at all. So even though you are developing something for an operating system that is there, because of the difference in the hardware, it's not as simple as you think. Also, you need to, like Ashraf told us, manage the resistance. Sorry, something happened. Thank you. You need to manage the resistance of the users. Most of the users had an amazing freedom before this system. I tell you, some of them worked for 3 companies at the same time, no problem. Now, by limiting their freedom, obviously they will not appreciate that and they will resist it. Having a dedicated project manager is very important, but equally important is that you have what we call the project champions. So within the promoters, you pick one promoter and tell him you are the champion of this project. You empower him and you keep him in every meeting to represent the promoters. From the people who are in the reporting, you include one person. From the people who are in HR, who would finally receive all your check and everything, you have one champion. So you have a virtual team of champions representing all the stakeholders and customers. That makes them really involved, but also they would voice concerns early on before you waste time with development. And my last advice is manage a hybrid world. The world is not all digital. There is still a very large physical part of it. So managing the interaction between both is really important for you. With that, I end my presentation. I thank you very much. I'm here if you have any questions. I gladly take them.
Well, thank you, Asim. But what Asim said, he started with a business problem. He has a business problem, then he did a solution for it, and he didn't stop, because once he implemented, he started finding problems. And with problem, he started working on it. And one of the problem was the people, which is expected. Any change has people. At this point, I would like to solicit any questions from the floor. Anyone has questions for me or for Asim? You? Thank you. Thank you.
Rather than technology, which was very, very beautifully captured. That part I really liked it.
Yes.
And also, finally, his comment is on, hybrid world, the seamless, seamless integration of the physical and digital world. That is where we are tending. That's beautifully captured. Thank you very much. Wonderful insights. Wonderful insights.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. With this, I'd like to move to another guest speaker, Mr. Ahmed Naimi from Bahrain. He is the head of digital transformation and project management in the Bahrain Institute of Banking and Finance. Thank you, Ahmed, for joining us. And the floor is yours.
Thank you, dear. Thank you for having me. I hope that my voice is clear.
Yes, it is.
Great. Just let me get my things ready so I start. First of all, I would love to actually thank you all for having me on board. I would like to thank the organizers, the actual attendees for being here today. I would have loved to be with you there in Dubai Expo. So I have the clicker, I have all the luxury of those elements and sit with you. Just a second, I think that fell. That's the first thing happened. I think something happened, right? Yeah. So the luxury of having all these stuff with you there. but unfortunately, I'm in Bahrain. I couldn't actually travel. We have actually just moved to a new building at the BIBF, and we're going through all this moving stuff and all. My name is Ahmed Naimi. I'm the head of Digital Transformation and Project Management Center at the BIBF, the Bahrain Institute of Banking and Finance. I'm also a board member and a chairman of the audit committee of Invita, which is a business process outsourcing company, as well as a board member at BFC Payments, which is a fintech company in Bahrain, among a number of other societies and tech committees. I've been actually working at the BIBF for around 7 years, and prior to that, I was working in the banking sector for around 12 years, and prior to that, I was in a law firm in Canada for around 4 years, where we transformed the entire law firm to become fully digitalized, and that was way years and years back. So we move to the next slide. Just a bit about the BIBF for you to know. We have been in the market since 1981, so around 40 years. We actually this marks the 40th anniversary for us. Our main mandate is to provide vocational and skills training, mainly for the financial sector, but capitalize on the knowledge and resources we have, and we support all the other sectors as well. So we train in around 64 countries. The latest country was Japan, where we delivered training on Islamic finance. We have the trust and collaboration with major names, global names like Amazon Web Services, the World Bank, Project Management Institute, and many more. In terms of what we are going to talk about today, going back to our subject today, when we speak, let me just go a few steps back. I know my colleagues covered a bit of that, but let me just go a bit as well to the basics. When we speak about digital transformation, we do not refer to just the technology we're bringing on board. We speak about many aspects. Among them are the business model, the organization culture and mindset, the business processes, and then the technology to use. The major challenge we see is organizations, until recently, tend to focus their efforts on implementing technologies under the umbrella of digital transformation, rather than the other points I actually just mentioned. This model or mindset needs to change to embrace digital transformation to its fullest potential and take advantage of its power. When we talk about people, process, technology, all these elements need to be into the picture, even including the culture and the organization. So why digital transformation is important? What's important in it? Before I mentioned that, I remember one point. Digital transformation will look different in every company. It can be very hard to pinpoint a definition that actually applies to everyone. Like digital transformation in my company may be different from your company, and so on and so forth. However, in general terms, we define digital transformation as the integration of digital technology in all areas of business, resulting in a sort of a fundamental change to how we operate the business and how we deliver value to our customers. So that's what it matters at the end of the day, is how we can actually deliver that value to our customers and maintain our business operation and processes within. So why does digital transformation matter? A business may take on digital transformation for several reasons, but I think the most and foremost important reason, it's a survival issue. So we're living in a digital age, and it's critical that everyone should expect a change in the way that they do business. Every process, every job, every market is being challenged by what these technologies are bringing on board. In the wake of the pandemic, for example, we've seen how digital transformation was put on a fast track on the agendas of every organization. So the digitalization of work is absolutely an important factor and isn't going to go away. It's there, it will stay, and will even be more and more and more. So if a company does not become significantly digitalized, it will no longer be competitive. You see those fintech companies, insurtech companies, regtech companies, paytech companies that are coming on board, and they're challenging the work of major organizations who've been there for years and years. talking about a new digital, a fully digital bank that comes on board, a fintech company that comes on board, new companies coming on board, challenging the biggest banks that we had that were there for years and years and years. So as organizations get deep into digital initiatives, all are experiencing the same thing. I'm going to talk about it for my presentation is mainly on a skill set aspect. The same experience that we have seen that everybody's experienced is the challenge to find workers, employees, expertise with a sort of a soft skill and technical skills that help bridge the divide between what business users want and what technology needs. So when we're thinking about planning for digital transformation, business skills are not necessarily what comes to mind immediately. We normally just think of an IT guy, technology guy, and so on and so forth. But if we take a step back and look at the business model and think about changing how we do things to be efficient and effective and deliver that particular service for our organization in a digital manner, often that goes beyond that technical skill that we are looking for. You can get a computer engineer to build things, but if you haven't listened to the stakeholder, and I've seen this throughout my life, if you get a computer engineer and you haven't listened to the stakeholders, then whatever you have actually built will not be successful and will not meet the needs of the organization. Of course, none of us want these sort of technology guys, to disappear in a sort of a void and come back 3 months later with a product that does not fit with what we require or what the market needs or what our clients actually need. So saying that, we've seen and come across a number of organizations that tackle that in a different way. Some organizations opt to hire a digital transformation team and put them in charge of the transformation and coordinate the efforts between IT and business units. And I must say this, that often led to a lot of problems, a lot of politics, interdepartmental cold wars, that actually delayed the transformation efforts or pushed it or even made it fail. So we've seen that throughout our my career. Of course, there's a lot of ways to tackle these elements. I'm not saying that this is the end of the world. A lot of companies were successful by hiring a digital transformation team within the organization. But the common factor that I've seen from all the banks that we actually deal with is this element that happens. Some organizations opt to create technology champions within each business department or division. And these sort of champions become the ambassadors of change within their division or department. So you're bringing a person that may not know much about digital transformation, but checking him up, giving him all the tools that they need and all that, making him understand the change that requires to be happening, and then putting them back into the division and hoping that he or she becomes sort of the ambassador across board for the change that's going to happen within the organization. But this also had its own challenges, as not all the champions were having similar sort of priorities of the organization. And most of the time they had to deal with sort of legacy systems that are on board. So even those champions, with the bit of knowledge that they got and bit of the culture change that they've received, they get also hit by a lot of legacy systems issues, problems with IT, problems with systems and all that, and they don't know how to deal with it. So I'm just highlighting what happens from a human side or a skill set side. So our observation, let me just put the slide on the observation. What we've actually observed at BRBF, that there's a major lack in experience for one skill set. Which is the most needed nowadays for digital transformation. The skill set is business analysis or business analyst. People who can understand what business process is, what functional managers do, how do they engage with clients, and the technologies that best fit their requirements. And that's where we need to capitalize on individuals that we can have more business analysts within the organization that understand the objectives and the goals of the organization. So skill sets is a big challenge for digital transformation to be successful, which brings us to what the BRF has and currently is doing to tackle this sort of the skill shortage and skill set issue. We look at the screen, we have these different elements, Generation X, Generation Y, and Generation Z. So at the BRBF, before we actually developed certain programs, we looked at these generations. Generation X, which is the first one, you see the past and digital immigrants. Generation X is my generation, which is the 70s, 60s born. We are digital immigrants, so we don't have that. We were not born with a golden spoon of technology in our mouth, but we had to learn it the hard way, and yet still individuals in our age range struggle with technology. And our career line is sort of stable, so we like to have a job and stay at that job and maybe change twice, 3 times until we actually retire. In this generation, we look for the experience factor in management. When we talk about digital transformation, it's the experience that manages individuals, manages groups, teams. That's where Generation X is being looked at heavily. Generation Y, on the other hand, are digital natives. They are better with technology. They use it on a day-to-day basis, and it's embedded in their lives. Their career path is sort of not linear, as our Generation X, and they tend to change jobs often and study more, and they reskill themselves. So this generation is the best fit as digital transformers, as we've seen. We capitalize on this generation to facilitate change in an organization because they understand that technology aspect and they want technology to come and take part in the job that they do, make it easier. And then there is Generation Z, which is the new generation, the technoholics, the digital integrators, the very young generation that uses technology like the air they breathe. This generation, individuals change jobs based on what they see, where they see themselves. They like to work on multiple projects, they thrive on reskilling themselves and more. This generation, we capitalize on their deep technological skills like programming, data analysis for data science and whatnot. So basically Generation X, we capitalize on their experience. Generation Y, we capitalize on the transformation aspect of technology. Then Generation Z, we capitalize on their deep technological skills. Okay, so once we identified, once in the BRBF, we identified the different generation, we looked at multiple reports like McKinsey, World Economic Forum report, etc. But today I'm going to actually just share the one report, which is for the World Economic Forum report. When we looked at that, we saw the top skills demanded by 2025. And those skills are what's highlighted to you: analytical thinking and innovation, active learning and learning strategies, and complex problem solving, and a number of other skills as you see in front of you. Then we went to another step and we looked at the jobs of the future in terms of what's the demand, in terms of what's the jobs that are required in the future, and what are the jobs that are decreasing in demand. And if you see on the left side, most of those jobs are technology-based. So they're looking at data analysis and scientists, number one. AI and machine learning, big data, digital marketing, process automation specialists. And on the other side, the decreasing jobs are the normal clicks, the routine jobs that are not requiring any AI can easily replace, accountants, auditors, and so on and so forth. Once we identified all these elements, we went ahead and designed our offerings in the Digital Transformation Center. And what we've actually did after that is we launched the Digital Academies. The digital academies that we have currently at the BIBF, digital transformation, where we look at the culture, mindset, technology, aspect, process, all these elements in one place. Then we have the XTech and Digital Banking Academy, where we look at training individuals in fintech and insurtech, paytech, and regtech sort of solutions. Then we had the Data Science Academy. That has all the qualifications, programs to look at the individual from a mindset perspective, even from data analysis, how we visualize data, how we look at information, all these elements. Then we have the Academy on Cybersecurity, where, okay, now you understand technology, whether you are a basic novice into the technology, or you're an advanced technology guy. And from all these elements, we actually we made that sort of academy to look at the cybersecurity elements and to bring awareness into that aspect. Then we have two more academies. One is transformation technology, where we have AI training, artificial intelligence, blockchain, Internet of Things, and whatnot, and cloud and whatnot. Then we have the IT Academy, where we focus on the technology guys. So all those other academies, we focus on the business users and how we actually can reskill them in order for them to actually be able and become relevant to today's market requirements. Then IT, then those IT guys, we give them more into programming, stuff that are deep technical, database management and whatnot. In terms of what we do, this is basically the trending topics that we have seen nowadays. Digital customer experience are highly in demand, agile project management, cybersecurity, data science, design thinking, digital innovation, and whatnot. These are in high demand nowadays, as we see in the market for the financial sector. This is basically when we went and we did those generational change. When we looked at the generations, we looked at the reports. We came up with this sort of program where we enrolled a lot of business individuals from the banking sector, and we gave them a sort of a business process analysis program. Then we took them into each technology for them to actually understand what these technologies mean to them from a business perspective. Then we linked them together so that those individuals know how to actually build their digital transformation roadmap. This is basically for Generation X's. Then we went to Generation Y, and we gave them sort of a program called Digital Ambassadors. And we combined a bit of more design thinking into it, digital user experience, because those fresh graduates, when they're coming to the company, you need to give them a bit about how they should think out of the box in terms of a process-oriented manner, how they should communicate through Excel and showcase their findings to infographics and stuff like that. And then we end up with a sort of a hackathon where we challenge them. We give them a challenge and they have to come up with a solution with it using the technologies that they actually learned. And then we have the tech guys, not tech, the techies. We have a program we developed for them where we give them sort of business roundup. And then we have individuals go into data tracks, digital and IT, cybersecurity. And from those tracks, we have individuals that come out of these programs understanding deep into these elements. So when they go join an organization, they are not a liability from the first 6 months. They actually become an asset to the organization from a skill set perspective. Finally, I don't want to take long, but that also another program that I wanted to showcase is we tackled the very old generation, I'll say baby boomers. And we wanted to actually, these are the stay-at-home women, sort of mothers and grandparents. We wanted to actually give them skills for them to actually manage the kids at home during the COVID period. So during COVID, a lot of parents used to work and busy from their kids. So grandparents used to take care of those kids. And we made a program for those grandparents so that they learn about online meetings, Zoom, Teams, whatnot, how to do research on Google, how to stay efficient in terms of online banking and payments and e-government services, Word and PowerPoint, and also giving them a bit about cybersecurity, online security, and whatnot for them to actually not to click certain links on mobiles when they receive those scam messages. And I think I'll conclude with this. Thank you so much for having me on board. And I just wanted to give you that sort of a breadth of experience that we actually went. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ahmed. Any questions for Ahmed? No? Ahmed, I actually have a question for you. Can you hear me?
Go ahead.
Okay. Now, your clients, you have internal clients and external clients. I'm talking about banking. When you do digital transformation, you have your internal people that you need to accommodate, and you did a lot of work, obviously, to prepare the infrastructure, the human infrastructure for people. But then, when you talk about the customer facing their mobile app for the first time, their website for the first time, using a token for the first time? How did you prepare your customers? I'm talking in general, for the banking industry to do general transformation. How did you prepare the customers for such a transformation?
We've actually we've run a lot of awareness programs. When we started way ahead of the COVID situation, way before, and we focused on a lot of elements in terms of what makes or breaks an organization from a digital transformation. The majority of the aspect, the major challenge in any organization was like my colleague, which he mentioned earlier, the resistance, the people change factor. People are not willing to move forward, and how we actually can break that sort of element or that culture for people to actually understand how they should go about it. So there is a few points I may actually mention that I did not mention in my presentation, that you can actually embrace a culture of digital transformation in the organization. One element is improving the employee involvement and creating a dialogue. Employees, first and foremost, need to understand the why behind digital change. No transformation can be successful without proper communication and shared plan. Employees need to feel that they are part of the organization and need to understand why certain decisions are being taken and to feel involved in these decisions. The second element is basically building a sort of a culture with the startup mindset. Organizations nowadays encourage employees to operate in a startup mindset and facilitate change and have a say in how product is conceived or a service is being delivered. Encourage collaboration. These are the elements that we actually tell a lot of the organizations, and we teach them into our programs and courses. Organizations need to foster cross-functional teamwork. We need to break down those sort of silos. Silos is from the 80s and 70s. These need to be actually broken. Invest into training. The job market, as we know it, will change drastically. The skills needed are more towards digital skills, creative thinking, innovative mindset. Embedding digital skills within employee roles. So this entails developing a sort of a skill set in areas like user experience design, agile project management, agile thinking, digital innovation. And last but not least, I would say, organizations need to allow a culture of experimentation. As you and myself know it, in our region, we find it very difficult to do any sort of experimentation of trial and error. We lack this R&D element. So we need to allow experimentation organizations to promote a culture of innovation, creativity, support that sort of digital transformation journey.
Well, thank you, Ahmed, for your time. Thank you very much. And we move on to continue. So, moving on, we'll talk about the digital transformation journey. It's a journey that starts with the strategy. Strategy formulation is the first step. We first need to say and define what we want to do. Once we do that, we need to plan it. We need to do how we will go about the digital transformation. We cannot just do it all at once. We have to make phases and steps. Then we go into business analysis. Again, it's called transformation. There has to be change in the process. So first, I need to understand the process in order to change it. If I don't know the process, how can I change it? Once we do that, we go into the user experience and the user interface design. Once it's done, we go into execution, and that's only then we get the developers in. We get the coders in, not from the very beginning. Once we have a product, we need to go into testing, very sophisticated and elaborate testing. Once this is done, we have a working product. Then we go into training. We need to train the people inside and outside. The users, all type of users need to be trained, needs to be involved. Then we go into the deployment. Deployment means that we make the product ready to work. If I have a car, I need to fuel it first. If I have an accounting system. We need to upload the previous accounts. We need to upload the chart of accounts. A lot of preparation has to be done. Once this is done, then we have an operational system, and then comes assessment. Is it working properly? Is it easy to use? Is it efficient? Based on the assessment, we have adjustment, and we follow the whole cycle over and over again. So let's jump in. At this day, we'll cover the first three: strategy formulation, project planning, and business process. Tomorrow, we'll continue the full cycle. So first, we need to align the strategy with the company. There is no digital transformation strategy that is away from the company strategy. So first, we need to understand what is the company strategy that can be supported by digital transformation. It can be everything. It can be diversification. I need more product lines. I need to work in different markets. I need more clients. It can be scalability. The thing I was talking about regarding the woman at home that's preparing meals to people, right? And suddenly she has 100 orders. What can she do? How can she scale? One alternative is very easy. She can sublet the meals to her building wives. And suddenly she has a company. She can scale quite fast, right? Now, markets is, again, if I want to go into approach a new market, go into geographical new market, it's a totally new market. There can be an organization change that I want to slimline the organization, or I want to change the hierarchy or the process, and it can be control. I can be simply losing money. I don't know. A lot of people, especially in the health industry, when you go to a hospital, the main thing that he's complaining about, the management I mean, is control and governance. You want to control his operation. He simply doesn't know. So, based on the strategy of the organization, where the organization wants to go, then comes the digital strategy to support this. The digital transformation strategy is an enablement. It enables the company corporate strategy, how it goes. I'm looking for this. It's much easier. Okay, so first, how do we start? We compile a list of pains and opportunities. What does the employees suffer from? Where can we improve? What does the clients suffer from? What do they want? I need to check this. Once we do that, we evaluate each opportunity and rank and rate and start working. So again, how we develop initiatives and ideas. Through brainstorming, get everybody on board. First, we need to check the processes. What is actually happening now? When we check the process, we start finding pitfalls. We start finding inefficiency in the process. And based on that, this is what we need to improve. We get the department feedbacks. We sit with every department. What is your problem? How can we improve it? And they start talking. Then the client feedback. That's very important. It can be direct. I can ask the client through a lot of research, through a lot of things, and I can sense what's happening. Sent through the internet, sent through the Facebook, through whatever. Competitors, what are they doing? It can be an opportunity and it can be a threat. Is the competitor advanced than me, or he's lacking behind? If he's lacking behind, I can step forward and be in advance. So it's really an opportunity. Trends, what's happening in the market? Is there a new technology that I can use? Supplier and distributors are a very good source of information. What can be improved? How can I be more efficient? And last but not least, what can kill me? What substitute product? And when we talk about substitute products, for the hotel, for example, it's a company that's the largest hoteling company in the world and does not have a single room. Right? So, what's happening? If I'm not aware of substitute products, I'm not aware of competition, I'm not aware of trends in the market, then I can fail. All these are ideas for where do I want to go to digitally transform what I'm doing, right? So from this, I come up with a lot of ideas. What we do, we start thinking about the SWOT analysis of the idea. Strength, weakness, opportunities, and threat. We start putting every item where it belongs. Do I have the tech resources? If I have, it's a strength. If I don't, it's a weakness. My employees, are they willing to change? Ahmed, when he was talking about the new generation, the tech savvy. What is my average age in the company? Are they tech savvy? Do you want to jump in and start implementing technology and using things? Or they're not. It can be strength and it can be weakness. Huh? Budget. Do I have the money or I don't? No. Tycoons like Google, scrapped products. Google went into Google Plus and thought they will kill LinkedIn and a lot of products. They didn't. Actually, they died. So it wasn't money. Having money, it can be a plus and it can be a negative. Leadership. Is my company leaders, the executives, are willing to change? Are they willing to take risk? Are they willing to adopt the idea of digital transformation or not? Again, a threat and a strength and a weakness. What process efficiency can I improve? Actually, if there is a lot of improvement, it is an opportunity, it's not a weakness. We are thinking from a digital transformation perspective. So if I have a lot to improve, yay, I can have a great return on investment. Agility. How agile is my operation? So again, it's a strength or weakness. Now, looking at the outside world, we can look at the client pain. If there is a lot of pain, again, it's an opportunity. I can capitalize, I can relieve the pain. While if I left this unhandled, it's a big threat. Technology. Again, technology now, if you can dream it, you can do it, probably. It can be, if it's there, it's an opportunity. If it's not, it's a threat. Government support. A lot of government now will have incentive for digital transformation. If you're going this way, we'll support you. Trends, what's happening, competitor, markets. We need to think of every initiative and put where it is. Now, once we start doing this, we come up with 20, 30 initiatives. I cannot start doing everything all at once. This cannot happen. So I need to think what is the cost of every initiative versus what is the impact that it will go. The cost, it can be investment, it can be total cost of ownership, it can be the risk, it can be the expertise that I have, right? And the impact, it can be financial, it can be from a customer satisfaction perspective, it can be internal efficiency, more efficient, and it can be innovation, being on the edge of innovation. Now, using these 4 quadrants, we can have high impact, low effort, that's the best. And then high impact, high effort, low impact, low effort, and low impact, high effort is where you don't want to be. So whatever initiative goes into there, get away from. With this, we have a prioritized and clear initiative. We need to go planning. And by planning, I need to answer the what, the why, the how, the who, the when, and the how much. It's a very important question to answer. We need to go in one by one and answer them. And in phasing the project, there is a very important trick and technique that has to be implemented, especially in digital technology transformation, that's called minimal viable product, MVP. By this, I do not want to wait for a year to have something to look at. I want within 2 weeks, 1 month maximum to have something that I can use. And by using, I don't need all the features. I just have to use it, and then I can adjust. That's very important. And then we go into managing the project. I decide on how to manage my projects. What's the monitoring facility, frequency? How would I monitor it? When do I monitor it? What will happen if it didn't go this way, correct way? With that, we start the implementation part. And the first thing is to decide on what is the processes. Again, at the beginning, when we're looking at the pains and the opportunities, we looked at the processes. What are the processes, whether internal or external? I need to list what I will work upon so that I know how to improve them. And again, some of the thinking is that I think departmental. With digital transformation, please ignore the departmental thinking. Think of the customer journey. The customer start with his needs and ends with satisfaction. How does it go? And you will find it crossing most of the departments. Based on that, we start drawing a process map. A process map that tells what steps are taken when, with what tools, by who. And if it's not done, how can I escalate it? Now, drawing this actually support the company internal organization. It organizes the company. But it's very important to draw this, because if you do not have this, when you tell developers or the system that will implement the application, please do this for me, do what? How does it work? Now, this has another benefit, that it involves the people with you. It involves the employee. When you start drawing this, you will ask accounting, how does the process go? When you ask the sales, how the process go? You ask the warehouse, how the process go? And they start telling you. They cannot, or they will not at the end come and say, this is not how we do it. This is not the form you use. This is not the chart of accounts that's usable. They are with the digital transformation team all the way. So for each activity, we'll define the owner, information that I capture, use, the tool that I will use it for, the KPI, how can I assess it, this success or failure, and the escalation. With this, we have a clear digital transformation requirement, and we go to the user interface. And at this step, I will stop for today. We'll have a video from our organizer, the Islamic Chamber of Commerce, and then we'll continue tomorrow. Thank you. So thank you very much. I just remind you that tomorrow will be from 7 to 9, and looking forward to seeing you tomorrow. Thank you very much.
Yeah. Yeah. Wala na sila sa luso.
Talaga. Uy. Sana. Uwi na tayo. Sandali. Sige na, yung sumpa natin. Tara na.
Hindi pa tayo sigurado. Maghanap kayo na pwede natin gamitin, Karamas. Sige na.
Tara na.
Dali.
Ano ba?
Mia! Dali na. Sandali.
Teka lang.
Alam mo, napapansin ko laging kami nakapronte. Ba't di naman ikaw?
Pwede, kaya lang. Mataas ang pintana, hindi ko rin makikita yan eh.
Ako, dito mo.
Toy.
Wala pa akong makita eh.
Sige. Dali! Oh, Mia!
Baso!
Gusto nyo!
Teka muna, hindi ko na siya nakikita eh.
Ito yung pinto! Buksan nyo yung pinto!
Pinakiri na.
Oh, masyado ka namang galit. Buhay ka naman ah. Dali, ba't ka nagagalit mo? Sandali, hayaan mo na ako. Arte rito eh.
Kayo na lang lagi na susunod! Dapat kayo naman na sumunod sa akin! Kung diyan kayo dadaan, sigurado nandiyan pa yung hahabol sa akin! Bahala kayo sa buhay ninyo! Huwag niyo ako duro-duruhin, doon!
Uy!
Ano nangyayari sa akin dito? Ay!
Wala nangyayari.
Yes!
Guardia!
Sige na, pasina! Sige na!